Recording. So let's just have a quick revision of what we did last week. Now, some of you.
May I for an information before we start?
Yep. Go ahead.
Okay, I think it is interesting to most of you, or if not all. The dice is rolled, and the site for the European Idol Championship in November is up. So the championship is going to take place.
It is going to take place.
It's going to take place as scheduled.
Okay. Right. Okay.
Already, if you go to the EKF agenda, you will find in the relevant section, you will find the website with all initial information about. Pre-entry ends on 1st July and final entry on 13 September.
Oof. Seems pointless. Never mind.
And also it will be combined, maybe interesting some Jodo people, it will be combined with the Shodan to Nanadan Jodo examination.
Right.
It will be preceded by 1-day seminar and examination for Jodo, since they were cancelled in September due to the cancellation of the championship.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see if we can even fly at that time. If we have a second wave, then the airlines might not even fly there.
Okay, that's a point, but I think the first step for the championship has been done.
Right. Okay. Thanks, Biros.
Ryanair are definitely taking bookings right now. They might not go anywhere, but they're definitely taking bookings.
Okay, so let's go to the revision of what we quickly did last week. So I know that not all of you attended the same sessions, and each session tended to reach a different stage in the subjects that we're doing. So if anything isn't familiar to you, then please just say, I don't understand, and we will go back over it. So I'm just going to share the slides with you. Give me a second. I'm just going to mute you also that we don't get any sort of feedback. Share screen. Okay, can you see that slide? Yeah, great. Okay, so just a quick revision. Remember that the Japanese sentence structure is made up of subject, object, and information can be in any order you wish, and the verb or state goes at the end. So that I think is fairly easy to follow. And we did, unless you didn't, please say if you didn't, unmute yourself and say that you didn't. We did the present affirmative of I am, it is, we are, she is, with des, the negative dewa arimasen, the past tense deshita, and then to make the negative past, we simply combine dewa arimasen and deshita together to give us dewa arimasen deshita. Okay. We did a little bit of this. We'll come back to this and do a little bit more, but we should have defined the difference between, for example, kore and kono. So just as a reminder, in the same way that I can say in English, for example, I can say, this is mine, but I can also say, this phone is mine. I don't have to mention the verb. If I say, this is mine, then I say, kore wa watashi no desu. So we use kore, sore, are. So the noun is implicit in the word kore. It means this thing. But if I say, this phone is mine, then kono contains the possessive no. So it means this one, this phone. Kono keitai wa watashi no desu. Kono keitai wa watashi no desu. Okay. What else did we? Hang on a second. Let me just see if I can maximize you all again. Did all of you see this slide? This verb slide? Can you put your thumb down if you didn't see it? Pretty sure you all may have glanced on it. Okay, well, this is the one we're going to look at this morning anyway, so it doesn't matter too much if you didn't see it all. What else did we do? Full references. Oh yes, and the other thing that we worked on was the difference between wa and ga. So the particle wa primarily is used to raise your attention to the topic, to make it clear that you're talking about one particular thing, whereas ga is used to mark the object. Oh, sorry, also wa is used to mark a distinction between two or more things. If we want to make a distinction between what we were yesterday and what we were today, then we generally use wa. But if we simply want to mark an object of the conversation, for example, me saying that I like this phone, then I would mark the phone as ga, as the object. This will be a constant battle to try to work out whether to use wa and ga. And really, like a lot of things in language, it's only by practice and getting an instinct for it that you will start to really feel confident about whether to use wa and ga. Okay, so today's objective is, let me just quickly check the schedule, that I'd like to look at the verbs and the three classes. Again, explain why the infinitive is important, and then we're going to practice making some sentences using these verbs. Okay, so you may or may not have had explained to you last week that verbs are broken down into several categories in Japanese, actually, but the three main categories are group 1 regular, group 2 regular, and group 3 irregular. I'll explain how these differ a bit later on, but I just want you to remember at the moment that there's three classes. The three verbs I'd like you to remember at the moment are to go, which is ikimasu, to eat, tabemasu, and to come, kimasu. So in particular, ikimasu and kimasu should be easy to remember. If you come, it's kimasu. If you go, it's kimasu with an I in front of it, ikimasu, ikimasu, kimasu. And tabemasu sounds a bit like table, which is where you eat. So that's the best way to remember this, tabemasu. Now, as I also said last week, the infinitive, the dictionary form of the verb, or the plain form of the verb, we can call it different things. It's important to learn this, I think, in parallel with learning the polite mas form. The reason for this is that you can spend a lot of time learning lots of verbs and learning the mas form of these verbs and putting them into conversation. And then as soon as you want to make the imperative, or as soon as you want to talk about experience, or as soon as you want to give strong commands or reference time in the past, then you have to know the infinitive. So it's not very useful to just learn the mas form all the time. You find you have to go back and relearn it all again. So I want to make sure that you learn the infinitive at the same time as learning the conversational mas form. I don't think there's any. Oh, okay. We'll do some practice of just the simple present affirmative version of these verbs, but I just want to show you that it's actually quite easy to remember how to turn it into the negative and the past tense and the past tense negative, because we do almost the same thing as we do with des, dewa arimasen, deshita, and dewa arimasen deshita. So this highlighted yellow section shows you the common part between a verb and a state. Masu, desu. Mashita, deshita. Masen, dewa arimasen. Masen deshita, dewa arimasen deshita. So if you can remember the way to turn, sorry, Rob Sidoli's just entered the room, the way to turn des into past and negative, then it's very easy to turn all verbs into the past and negative. But let's go back up again. Sorry. There we are. Okay, do you all have these written down now so you can reference them during a quick exercise? Great. I'm assuming that's yes. I only saw Piotr put his thumb up, but that's good enough for me. Okay, hi Rob. Welcome to the jungle. Okay, so I'm going to ask you all, as we do every time, I'm going to ask each of you to respond to my question. But at the same time, as you're all muted, I would like all of you to respond as best you can. Listen to the answer, and then I'll give you any corrections. So let's do you first, Konstantina, if you can unmute yourself. So I'd like you to say, I am going to London.
London ni ikimasu.
Excellent, thank you. London ni ikimasu. Jock, how would you say, I am going to London? No, sorry, I will go to London. I will go to London. I'm just going to unmute you, Jock. Hang on a second. Oh, actually, you need to unmute yourself, I think. Yeah, sorry, Jock, can you unmute yourself a second? There should, if you press the screen, oh, there we go. That's it. You're unmuted now. So how would you say I will go to London?
London ni ikutsumori.
So that's I'm planning to go, but how about I am going, I will go to London?
London ni
It's as easy as you think it is.
ikimasu.
Yeah, ikimasu, ikimasu. So this is a big difference between Japanese and European languages, although as I understand it, Italian doesn't have lots of different ways of saying this same thing. But I'm going to London, I will go to London, and I go to London. So I'm going to London sounding like I'm going about now. I will go to London, which is definitely marking the future. And I go to London, which is to say, on a regular basis, I go to London as a habit. All three of these can be expressed by saying simply ikimasu. Ikimasu. Yeah. Luke, how would you say you are going to Tokyo? I want you to say, and I quote, you are going to Tokyo.
あなたは東京に行きます。
Excellent. あなたは東京に行きます. Great. Thank you, Luke. Tom the Bum, how do you say, next week I will go to Kyoto? If there's any words you don't remember.
京都に行きます。
Okay. Do you remember the word for next week?
Haven't heard that one yet.
Okay.
Katsu?
So no. So we did this in a few of the groups last week. So the word for next week is raishu. Raishu.
来週は、京都に行きます。
Okay. So you can say this. Raishu wa Kyoto ni ikimasu. If you put wa after raishu, it's drawing the attention to the fact that it's next week you're going there. So it's, as I say, it's going to be a subject of practice to get the feel as to when to use wa. But in this particular sentence, what actually is the subject of that sentence? I am going to Kyoto next week.
私は
Yeah, yeah,
I
probably
am
is
going.
actually. Yeah, exactly. It's probably just me. I'm going to Kyoto next week. So in this case, to say raishu, when you say raishu, meaning next week, or konshu, meaning this week, senshu, meaning last week, you can just say this word by itself. You don't need to mark it with a particle. So in this case, you would say,
来週が私は京都に行きます。
no, so you don't even need to use ga. You can just say raishu. Yeah.
来週京都に行きます。
Perfect. Raishu Kyoto ni ikimasu. Good. Thanks, Tom. Jan, how would you say every week I go to Canberra? If I can just ask you to unmute yourself. That's it. Do you remember the word for every week? How to say every week? Okay. So last week or last year, generally, we put the prefix sen this week, this month, we generally put the prefix kon. Next is rai, and every is mai. So raishu is next week. So every week would be maishu, exactly. So if you said every week I go to Canberra.
Maishu Canberra ni ikimasu.
Perfect. Maishu Canberra ni ikimasu. Good. Thanks, Jan. Piotr, how would you say? I don't know how much Japanese you know, but let's start throwing some more words into this. How would you say next month I'm going to Japan?
来月、日本に行きます。
Excellent. 来月、日本に行きます. So getsu is the word for month, and again to make it future is to say next. Rai getsu. Wayne, how would you say every month I go to Canada?
毎月カナダに行きます。
Good. 毎月カナダに行きます。毎月カナダに行きます。毎月、毎月. So there are some exceptions in Japanese, unfortunately. And I think this is one of them, that for some reason, and I don't know why, when we say every month, instead of using the word getsu, which is the Japanese reading, I think, they use the Chinese reading for month, which is tsuki. So it's maitsuki Kanada ni ikimasu. I don't know why. I think if you said maigetsu, it would be understood, but grammatically, but what seems to be accepted is maitsuki. So Wayne, if I can ask you to say that again. Every month I go to Canada.
毎月カナダに行きます。
Excellent. 毎月カナダに行きます. Thanks, Wayne. Spiros, how would you say I eat sushi every day?
Sushi, mainichi sushi wa tabemasu.
Okay, so mainichi sushi. What marker would we put after sushi to make it? So not wa, but this is a transitive verb, remember. So we're doing something to something else. So taberu is a transitive verb, which means we are affecting something else. How do we mark the object of the transitive verb? Do you remember?
Ga.
Not ga, it's o. O. Yes.
So mainichi sushi o tabemasu.
Yes, good. Mainichi sushi o tabemasu. Mainichi sushi o tabemasu. Great, thanks, Spiros. Martin, how would you say next week I will eat salmon? I'm choosing salmon because you're Swedish, so probably you will eat salmon next week.
Probably. Can you repeat the question, please?
Sure. Next week I will eat salmon.
来週サルモンを食べます。
Perfect. 来週サルモンを食べます. Thanks, Martin. Sophia, how would you say every week I eat tempura?
毎週 OK 毎週天ぷらを食べます。
Excellent. 毎週天ぷらを食べます. Excellent. Thanks, Sophia. Patrick, let's now throw you into the alligator pit. How would you say, will you come to my party? Will you come to my party?
私のパーティーを来ますか?
Nearly. So close. So for direction, if you're going somewhere or coming somewhere, then the location is marked with not or, but do you know what it is?
Eh?
Yeah, so you can say ni or e. Ni or e. So can you say the sentence one more time?
私のパーティーに来ましたか?
So will you come? So for the future.
来ますか?
Exactly. So whole sentence one more time, please.
私のパーティーに来ますか?
Exactly. 私のパーティーに来ますか? Excellent. Thanks, Patrick. Zim, how would you say, are you coming to work next week? So we'll use a simple word for work to mean the place where you work, and we'll use the word kaisha. So this means company. Kaisha.
Kaisha?
Yes. Kaisha.
Oh, so you're asking, are you going to work next week?
No, so I'm going to assume that you're already at work. So you're saying to somebody else, will you come to work next week?
Next week.
So next week.
Yeah, 来週は、会社に来ますか?
Good, yeah. So in this case, you're making a point of saying next week are you coming to work? Right. So maybe marking raishu with wa is a good time to use wa. Raishu wa kaisha ni ikimasu ka? Can you say the sentence one more time? It was perfectly correct.
来週は、会社に来ますか?
Good. 来週は会社に来ますか? Thanks, Sim. Aga, how would you say, do you go to the dojo every week?
毎週は、道場に行きますか?
Maishu wa. Maybe in this case, you could just say maishu rather than maishu wa. One more time.
毎週道場に行きますか?
Yeah, 毎週道場に来ますか? Good, thanks, Aga. David, how would you say, do you eat meat every month? Do you know the word for meat?
Niku.
Yes, good.
毎月肉を食べますか?
Good, excellent. 毎月肉を食べますか? Thanks, David. Rob, how would you say, are you going to Scotland next month?
Okay, I was going to say Raigatsu, but maybe it's not right. Raigatsu wo Scotland e ikimasu ka?
Okay, so Rai, not Gatsu, but
the other one, and I can't remember it.
It's close to Gatsu, but it's not Gatsu.
Getsu. Raigetsu. Right. So Raigetsu wo Scotland ni ikimasu ka?
Excellent. Raigetsu Scotland ni ikimasu ka? Okay, great. Thanks, Rob.
Sensei, sorry to disrupt. What is Gatsu and Tsuki?
Good. Yeah, I'm glad you asked. So there's three ways of expressing the word month in particular. So let me look at the word getsu and gatsu first. If we're actually saying the month, January, February, March, then the modern way of saying this is ichigatsu, meaning month 1, nigatsu, which is February, month 2, etc. So we use the word gatsu, which is just another way of reading the character for moon, meaning month in Japanese and Chinese. If we're talking about next week, next month, or last month, then generally we always use getsu, so with an E, letter E, instead of an A at the beginning. Raigetsu, sengetsu, kongetsu. Oh, this month as well, kongetsu, this month. It's just weird that colloquially, for some reason, when people say every month, I don't know why, but instead of using the Japanese reading of the word month, the Chinese character of month, they use the Chinese reading, which is ski. So there are various ways of reading Chinese kanji, and for some reason, for every month, maitsuki is more commonly said instead of maigetsu. I don't know why, but if you said maigetsu, you would be perfectly understood. But you might be the only person in the room that says maigetsu. I don't know why. Yeah. Is that okay, guys? So we now know how to say January, February, March. We should know how to say next month, last month, this month, every month. The same thing with shu as well. So last week would be Constantina. How do you say last week?
Last week. Week is shu.
Good.
So last week is senshu.
Senshu, yeah, exactly. So sen means before, and shu means week. So this means the week before. So last week, senshu. Luke, how would you say last month? Sorry, you're muted at the moment.
Sengetsu.
Yeah, exactly. Sengetsu. Sengetsu. Good. And Tom the Boom, how would you say every month?
Maitsuki.
Maitsuki. Yeah, good. Good, good, good. And Piotr, how would you say every week?
Maishu.
Maishu. Good. Exactly. So we've got Maishu, we've got weeks, months. How about days? Okay, guys, can I ask you to put all your hands up again, please? And I'm just going to drop Constantina and Luke and Tom because we're ready to go. And Piotr. So the word for day is nichi. Nichi. So this doesn't easily apply across all ways of saying day. So as you know, Admiral Spiros, how would you say today I am going to Tokyo?
Konnichi Tokyo ni ikimasu.
Ah, good. Konnichi, which is exactly the right characters, exactly the right Chinese characters, but the wrong way of saying it. There's another word for today. Do you remember what it is?
Kyo wa?
Yeah, kyo. Kyo is today. And it's written in exactly the same characters as konnichi, as like when we say konnichiwa. But it's pronounced kyo.
Kyo Tokyo ni ikimasu.
Yes, exactly. Kyo Tokyo ni ikimasu. And then, excuse me, yesterday, Martin, do you remember yesterday?
Ashita?
So ashita is tomorrow.
Oh, then I don't remember.
So it's kino. 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 So Martin, how would you say yesterday I went to Tokyo?
昨日東京の行きました。
Good. So ikimashita, but what would be the particle after Tokyo?
Tokyo ni?
Yes, exactly. So to mark direction, either ni or e. Tokyo ni ikimashita. So we can hear very easily how to turn these verbs into the past tense. We just simply take mas and change it into mashita. And this applies across all of those verb categories, which is why the mas form is very easy to remember. Tokyo ni ikimashita. Thanks, Martin. Patrick, how would you say yesterday I ate sushi?
昨日寿司を食べました。
Yes, kino sushi or tabemashita. Okay, so we've got today, kyo, yesterday, kino, and tomorrow is ashita. Now, nichi, as I said earlier, is the word for day, and you didn't hear the word nichi in any of those three words. Kyo, kino, ashita, none of these have got nichi in them, unfortunately, except in the Chinese reading. But in the Japanese pronunciation, they don't contain the word nichi. The only way that we can say nichi is if we say every day. And if we remember, the word for every is maishu, maitsuki, and it's the same for every day, mainichi, mainichi. Mainichi. So Zim, how would you say I go to the dojo every day?
私は道場、every day, every day. What's the word for every day? 毎日。毎日は、私は道場に毎日来ます。
Okay, that's somewhere in there is the right sentence. That sounds like you threw all the words in the air and they came down in different places. So personally, I always find it useful if I'm making a reference to time, like every day or next week. Guys, we're going to finish this session, so let's close it now and rejoin the session again. Okay, see you on the other side. 15 participants.